So today's tutorial is going to base on the pattern drafting. Then I'm going to use this pattern and cut the main fabric off camera. Then we'll come back and do a tutorial on how I will attach this or join this together. So first of all, I'm going to take the total length of the gown. The total length of my client is 57 inches. So I'm going to mark 57 inches here. So, but I like adding all my sewing allowance in my pattern so that I'll just cut straight. So I'm going to add two, I'm going to add 1.5 inches for sewing allowance, which is joining at the top and ending at the down part. So you can add as much as you want, depends on the length. So I'm using a total of 58.5 inches. So moving forward, I'm going to come mark the shoulder point. First of all, this is the center front. It's a paper, so this is assumed to be on fold. So this is our center front. So I'm going to come at the tip of the pattern paper, and I'm going to mark 3 inches here. I'm using a total of 3 yards of damask. So folding the 3 yards together, I'm using one and a half yard for the front and one and a half yard for the back, which is a total of 26 inches. So I'm going to place my tape here and and mark 26 inches. If you want it to be longer than 26 inches and you have more fabric, you can go ahead to whatsoever length you want it. So I want from the center back to where the sleeve is going to stop to be 26 inches. So from this part, I'm going to come down by 2.5 inches. The reason I'm coming down by 2.5 inches, is a very long sleeve. So I want it to drop I don't want it to hang. So I'm coming down by 2.5 inches. Then I'm going to connect this 2.5 inches to the 3 inches mark that I made. So this is what I did. I've connected it to the 3 inches mark that I made. So next, what I'm going to do, I'm going to determine how wide I want the hip to be, and the sleeve to be. But before I do that, I will determine the hip length. So the hip length of this my client is 25 inches. So from the tip of the fabric of the pattern paper, I'm going to mark 25 inches. I've done that already. Then from there, I'm going to impute my hip measurements, my hip front circumference. So I'm working with hip 40. So 40 divided by 4, we have 10 inches. So that's the 10 inches. But this gown is a free gown, and it's not a fitted gown. So I'll add some extra inches for ease. So I'm going to add an extra 1 inch for ease. Then I'll add 1.5 inch for sewing allowance. So you can add as much as you want, because I still want this gown to be a little bit fitted, not so big, and but not very tight. So after doing that, I'm going to come to where my shoulder slope is. First of all, I'm going to rule the line. So this is the line that we'll be working with. The other part, we're going to cut that. So from where the shoulder slope stop, I'm going to come down by 20 inches. So I want my sleeve to be 20 inches wide. So including joining of the shoulder, joining of the side is included in this 20 inches. So from that 20 inches, I'm going to come up from my hip measurement to 20 by 3 inches. So from the hip measurement, I'm going to come up by 3 inches. So this is me marking my 3 inches upward. That means the sleeve is going to stop at 22 inches from the tip of the pattern paper. So I'll rule a straight line from there. Then I'm going to connect it back to the 1.5 inches allowance I made, and also I'm still going to connect it to the main body of this client. So what I'm going to do now, I'm trying to explain to you. So what I'm going to do now, from the place where we have the connecting line, I'm going to just use my hands to draw a curve. I'm just going to draw it free. I'm drawing the curve to meet with the main measurement of the body, not the 1.5 inches allowance I added. So next, I'm going to determine where the knee point is. So from the tip of the pattern paper, I'm taking a knee point. A knee is 40, but I'm coming up by 3 inches. So I'll take a knee point as 38 in order not to scissor leg, because I want it to be a little bit fitted at this knee point to have shape. So that is why this is necessary. So from that knee point, which I've ruled now, I'm going to impute a hip which is 10 um 40 inches divided by 4, 10 inches. But instead of using 10 inches, I'm going to remove half inch from it. So I'll be using 9.5 inches, giving us a total of 38 inches round. Like our knee circumference is 38 inches. So I don't want it too tight, but just have a little bit fitting. So I'm going to connect. After the 38 inches, I will add my sewing allowance. Please feel free to add whatever sewing allowance you want. I'll first of all add my ease, and I will add my sewing allowance. So after the 38 inches, I added 1 inch for ease and I added 1.5 inches for sewing allowance. So I'm going to connect everything together. So this is me trying to confirm my measurement because I'm adding everything to this pattern paper. So I'll connect everything together. So going back to the down of the fabric, which is the end point of the gown, I will just impute my hip measurement, and I'll add an extra 1 inch to my hip measurement before adding our sewing allowance. So this is me imputing my hip measurement with extra 1 inch and extra 1.5 inches. So I'll connect from the knee point. I'm going to connect it down to the dress. So if you look at this dress, this pattern is going to look like an A line at the down, but not too, it's not showing too much, just a bit. So because this dress is also going to have a slit. So what I'm going to do now, I'm going to cut this out. Then I'll use this front pattern and this pattern paper to cut the back before I will do the main adjustment for the front. But before we do that, so guys, I'm done cutting the back, and this extra piece of fabric you can see here is my zipper allowance. Although this is a fitted dress, but it's going to have a zipper at the back so that as to wear it from the bottom and it's not so free. So what I want to do for in this part is that I had to determine the half length. So this is the half length here. So I left 1.5 inches for zipper allowance, but I'm going to come in at this half length with half inch. Then I'm going to connect it to meet with this point and connect it from here to meet with here. So what I'm trying to do is to eliminate bodiness at the back, and it's going to have a very good fitting at the back even without a dart. So that is what I'm doing here. So I'm going to trim this off. But when I'm sewing it, I'm still going to sew my zipper with 1.5 inches all through. So with this, you're going to have a lovely shape at the back. So I'm going to take this off, then work on the front, then we'll cut for the front. So for cutting the front, I'm going to take out, before I take out this neck, this dress has a bit of overlapping at the upper part, at the neckline. So I'm going to get another fabric of 1 inch and add to this in order to achieve that. Guys, after adding this piece of fabric to it, I'm going to come out. This is the center back and center front. I'm going to come out on the extra fabric I did by 3/4 of an inch at this neckline. So at the back part, I'm going to come from the center back. I'm going to go in by, I have a total of 11 inches here, so I'm going to go in by, excluding my sewing allowance, so I'm going to go in by half of it, which is 5.5 inches. Now I'm going to connect this 5.5 inches with a slanted line to meet with this 3/4 of an inch that I came out with. So I'll go ahead and cut this out now. But before I go ahead to cut this slanted line I made first, I'm going to fold this in. Then I'm going to cut the lacy parts that will be at the front of the dress. Because for us to have this opening, there's a lace at the front of this fabric. So I'm going to fold this, cut the lacy part out first. So for the lacy part, what I'm going to do, I'm going to go with our normal measurement. Our shoulder measurement is 15 inches, which is 7.5. Then like we know, our hip measurement is 40 inches, which is this. So what I'm going to do from this shoulder measurement that I have here, I'm going to add 1 more inch to it, or let me say I'm going to add 1.5 inches to it. Then I'll just take my straight ruler, connect this 1.5 inches to meet with our hip measurement, which is the allowance for the hip measurement. So that is what I'm going to do. why I'm doing this is that we can't cut the lace fully to meet with this part, so it's just like an inner on the dress. So I will check for a bust and see if it's up to yes. So that when I'm joining this, I'm going to join. So what I'm going to do, I'm going to fold this in so that I'll be able to cut the lacy parts now. So I'll fold it in like this. Then I'll use this pattern to cut the lace part to be on the safe side. So guys, I'm done cutting the satin. I'm using a shiny face. So I'm done cutting the satin, and also I cut at the lace. So this is what will be at the middle, at the center, at the front. So this is going to be at the front part of the dress. So this is what I have. So later I'm going to laminate this. That means I'm going to use my hemming gum to attach the lace to the satin so that it will be a whole fabric. So I'll set this aside and we'll go ahead and work at the front part. So bringing my pattern paper again, like I decided to use just one pattern paper for the back and the front. It saves time and cost. So bringing back my pattern paper, I'm going to slash this out now. I'm going to cut this slanted line I drew. So I'll just cut that. So I'm done cutting this. This is what I have. So with this fold, I'll know that this is the center front. So I'm going to use this to cut on the main damask fabric for the front now. So guys, I'm done cutting it. So this is what we have. So this is what we have. So I'm going to set this front part aside, and we're still working on the paper. So for this dress, if you look at the side very well, you notice that they added the lace at the upper part of the sleeve, like from one part of the neckline to the sleeve, and in a slanted form. So I'm going to determine how I want it to be. So I'm just 3 inch and quarter, which is this mark. Then from this part, I'm going to come down by 14 inches. Going to come down by 14 inches. So I'm going to use my ruler and slant this 3.25 inch I came down with to this 3 inches. So this sorry, to this 14 inches. So I'm going to cut this out, and I will use this part to cut on the lace, on the edge of the lace, because I want the edge of the lace to be at this part. So guys, I'm done cutting every piece of this dress. We're going to end this video here. So what our next video is going to be the sewing of this dress. So I'm going to show you step to step on how to place everything and on how to sew everything. So this is the design I got from it. And please, if you are not subscribed to our channel, do well to subscribe and turn on your post notifications to get notified whenever we post new sewing tutorials. So this is how this is going to look like. I'm just going to place this lace on it like this before we start our sewing process. So bye for now.